UFC Fight Night Vegas 70, Krylov versus Spann. Well, Muniz versus Allen, because the main event got cancelled on very short notice. Just took place, and I'm going to go through the entire card, starting with the early prelims, ending with the main event, giving my reaction and breakdown to every single fight on the card, and my overall event recap as well, starting with the early prelim opener of Rafael Alves versus Nuruollo Aliev. Little bit of controversy in this one. Nuruollo Aliev was caught biting the fingers of Rafael Alves in the first round, which is very interesting, but good win from Nuruollo Aliev. Outside of that, he put it on in the second and third round and won those rounds based on keeping top control and doing some damage. Round 3, it didn't look like it was going his way at the start of round 3. But he managed to reverse position. I think he got hit with a big shot on the feet, and it looked like Rafael Alves had the guillotine on him. I picked Rafael Alves to get the upset with a guillotine, and he kept jumping for the guillotine because that's his move. And I did say that Aliev would be there to be put into that guillotine, but I just don't think guillotines work these days. You know what I mean? Obviously, in women's MMA, it might be a bit different, but I'm just not sure about the guillotines. You know what I mean? They just don't seem... They have a very low success rate in modern day MMA, at least. It's not that they don't work at all, but maybe I should have taken my own advice there and sort of not bet on the guillotine win. But good stuff from Nuruollo Aliev. It was tough for him in certain moments, but you got to remember, this is Rafael Alves we're talking about. This isn't a guy coming into the UFC and fighting some schmuck who's making their debut. Like, he took on Rafael Alves here, and Rafael Alves is a dangerous man, and you could say Nuruollo Aliev looked as good as Damir Ismagulov looked against Rafael Alves, with a bit of a tough round here and there, some tough moments, but overall winning it due to his grappling and top control. So very good win from Nuruollo Aliev. A little bit sporadic on the feet, but his grappling was enough to get it done. Another one of these guys on the rise in the lightweight division. Watch your fingers around him, though, because he gets a bit bitey. You know what I mean? We move on. Up the card, Joe Solecki versus Carl Deaton. I picked Joe Solecki to win by rear naked choke in the first round. He got it done by rear naked choke in the second. Carl Deaton should not be in the UFC. There are people in Cage Warriors with multiple title defenses like George Hardwick, who's actually a legit good lightweight fighter that should be in the UFC, but no. Carl Deaton gets signed up, 17-6. Looks middle-aged, not good. Had some decent takedown defense early on, I guess, but eventually Joe Solecki just wore on him, took him down, got the back as he tried to stand back up. And, yeah, good defense from Carl Deaton to tuck his chin the entire time in the first round, but eventually in the second round it was a little bit too much for him, and Joe Solecki was able to sink in the choke at the very end of the round. It was a lot easier for him to get the choke, it seemed, when he was on the ground with Deaton, and he could start sort of moving him around and shaking him around with back position. So, good job by Joe Solecki. He gets the rear naked choke in round 2. We move on. Up the card, Ode Osbourne versus Charles Johnson. I rewatched rounds 2 and 3 before I made my reaction. I think it was a bad decision. I think it was a very bad decision. Close fight, don't get me wrong, pretty close fight. But, yeah, they gave it to Ode basically based on takedowns that didn't do anything. So, I don't get that. Charles Johnson, in my opinion, won this fight rounds 2 and 3. Round 1 can go to Ode Osbourne. Still a close round, but Ode Osbourne wins round 1. He did a lot more work on the feet, landed more shots, landed a lot of kicks early on the legs of Charles Johnson, which seems to be his weakness so far in his career. But in rounds 2 and 3, it was pretty close. Maybe Ode was slightly ahead leading into the last minute of round 2. But then Charles Johnson cut him open with an elbow in the clinch and started landing some really good shots towards the end of round 2. Started landing some, really good shots. Rocked Ode Osbourne at one point at the end of round 2. And then round 3, I thought he won that round as well, despite being taken down a few times, mainly for him pulling guillotine as well, by the way. Despite being taken down a few times and losing top position, let's just say, he landed more effective strikes on the feet and was better on the feet than Ode Osbourne. So they gave it to Ode Osbourne for some bizarre reason. Good for him. I mean, even he looked like he knew he lost at the end of that fight, and Charles Johnson seemed like he knew he won, but can't trust the judges, I guess. But Charles Johnson did get a robbery decision in his last fight, so what goes around comes around. You only get one with the UFC judges. And Ode Osbourne, of course, took a massive amount of time off due to the groin shot. His cardio is worrying at flyweight. Very, very worrying, because you shouldn't be gassing out in a 3-rounder in the flyweight division. You know what I mean? Like, he took about 4.5 minutes off due to a groin shot that really didn't even seem like that bad of a groin shot. I mean, we saw a worse groin shot in Jordan Leavitt versus Victor Martinez, and Martinez was right back with it in about 20 seconds. So, obviously, it's hard to tell how bad a groin shot really is, but it seemed like it scuffed his cup, and the ball of the foot didn't even land on the cup or the groin. But Osbourne took like 4.5 minutes out to try and get his cardio back under him, I imagine. And yeah, I wonder if he would have gassed out a little bit quicker if that wasn't in play, but he used it to his benefit. Good for him. We move on up the card. Jordan Leavitt versus Victor Martinez. Jordan Leavitt scores a brutal first-round finish. Very, very good win from him. I picked him to win, obviously by rear naked choke or submission. And he actually couldn't get the takedown early on, so I was a little bit worried for a pick. Like, hang on a second here. Might be a bit tough for him, but he looked good on the feet. Landed some good leg kicks. Landed some good teeps to the body. Landed some good punches here and there, but Victor Martinez was getting off with a couple of punches on the feet as well. But it was mainly in the clinch that he had success. He landed a good shot to the body, hurt Victor Martinez to the body, and then started following up, found the tie clinch, and landed a bunch of knees to the body and the head, putting down Victor Martinez and finishing him off in round 1. So, great performance by Jordan Leavitt. He gets it done in the first round. Very, very good stuff from him. We move on. Up the card, Jasmine Jasudavicius versus Gabriella Fernandes. I said that Gabriella Fernandes was going to be way more effective on the feet, and because of that, I was picking her to win. I just thought she was better at striking, more dangerous, more powerful, and it did seem that way, but it's hard to tell with women's MMA fighters if they have one massive part of their game that's just completely missing. But that's the dice I rolled by picking Gabriella Fernandes, and Jasmine Jasudavicius kind of exposed her on the ground, and Fernandes had no ability to get back up to her feet after being taken down. No ability whatsoever. So that was that. She has 0 grappling skill, and Jasmine Jasudavicius exposed her for it. So good job at Jasudavicius. We move on. Up the card, Erick Gonzalez versus Trevor Peek. Man, now we're talking. Trevor Peek, he's never going to be a world champion. It's just all I'm going to say. But he's just so fun to watch. Like, he throws like a maniac. And obviously there's time, and I'm pretty sure he's still quite young as well. Like, I'm just going to check his age real quick, but I'm pretty sure he's still quite young. 28, I mean, not that young, let's be real. So I'm not sure how high his ceiling really is. And then maybe if he fights a Dober, he'll get caught coming in and get chinned, but like, he's so fun to watch. Like, he throws like a maniac. Everything behind every punch that he throws. And he was just lighting up Erick Gonzalez on the feet the entire fight long. Of course, Erick Gonzalez tried to take him down a few times. Got a few takedowns. But every time he got a takedown on Trevor Peek got right back up to his feet. Scrambled, Granby rolled. Everything he did. He tried everything to get out of those takedown positions. And he did it very well. He got right back up to his feet. So very good ability to get back up to his feet, I guess. But yeah, he's so wild. So wild on the feet. And it was fun. Brutal KO at the end of the first round. Rocked Erick Gonzalez badly. Got taken down. Got right back up. Right back on him. Swinging massive power shots. He was throwing standing hammer fists on Erick Gonzalez. And it was just crazy to watch. So definitely someone I'm going to be making sure to tune in for in the future of his career. And he lived up to the hype in terms of fun. I'm not sure if he lived up to the hype in terms of skill or technique, but very fun to watch. And yeah, gotta watch a Trevor Peek fight from now on, 100%. We move on. Wow, actually, I just noticed everyone who got a finish got a performance bonus on that card, which is interesting. I guess no fight of the night. There was no fight of the night, I guess. But yeah, good stuff for everyone on that card. We move on to the main card, which was Mike Malott versus Yahon Lainesse. I picked Yahon Lainesse to win. Malott sometimes a bit scrappy on the feet. I thought he was going to get caught on the feet, but yeah, he got it done. You know what I mean? Silly underdog pick of Yahon Lainesse. He's terrible. I know he doesn't like me, but man, you just swing like a Trevor Peek at welterweight, but when you're fighting a good grappler, I guess that doesn't work. So, yeah, he was just swinging off, never really found range. Never found timing, just swinging pathetic punches. Landed 1 of 4 significant strikes that he attempted, and Malott just sort of picked him at range, and then when he got the takedown, it was all over for Yahon Lainesse. So, good job, Mike Malott. Got the submission in the first round with an arm triangle, and showed levels on Yahon Lainesse, especially in the grappling. So, very good job from Mike Malott in that fight. We move on. Up the card, Tatiana Suarez versus Montana De La Rosa. I picked Tatiana Suarez to win. This is going to be my quickest full card recap, I think, because this is like the feature fight already. Tatiana Suarez, picked her to win by submission or TKO to ground and pound. And to be fair, Montana De La Rosa put up a good fight, to be fair. She stuffed a few takedowns, stopped Suarez from getting her to the ground, made it a competitive round 1, but Suarez got the round because of her grappling and her control time and doing a little bit more in the clinch and stuff like that. But arguably in the first round, Tatiana Suarez was outworked in the clinch. So it was good work from Montana De La Rosa. And we almost had a nip slip as well, but that was something that we weren't blessed with in that fight. But yeah, Tatiana Suarez got the fight done. Second round sub. Going to move back down to a lower division. She looked quite small out there, to be fair. I think she just dominates in that strawweight division. I picked her to be the flyweight champ at the end of the year, and now she's moving to strawweight for good. So, great stuff there. Good job by Tatiana Suarez, though. She gets the job done. We move on. Up the card, Augusto Sakai versus Don'Tale Mayes. I picked Don'Tale Mayes. I thought you'd be able to catch Sakai, who's been KO'd 4 times in a row. No one really got a takedown in this fight. It was just more Augusto Sakai leaning his flab on Don'Tale Mayes in the clinch, wearing him down, and just pushing him against the cage, outworking him in the clinch. Pretty much. That's what it was. Not really much to discuss in that fight. Mayes is shit. Didn't look good throwing punches. Looked hesitant on the feet. Lost balance in the first round with a front kick to the body. Completely fell over. Augusto Sakai did a lot of catching his kick and making him sort of fall backwards with it and driving him into the cage and just leaning on him and, you know, put him in a bit of a headlock position and sort of dragging him down a bit. And yeah, it was just tough to watch if you picked Don'Tale Mayes, because it was just a slow, excruciating loss for him because Augusto Sakai just sort of pushed him against the cage and outworked him in the clinch. So good job, Augusto Sakai. Won the fight. Cut both of them, is what I say. It's one of those fights where you think, maybe I can be a UFC heavyweight with about 2 years training. It was one of those types of fights where you really are reminded how bad UFC heavyweights really are. We move on to the co-main event, which ended up being the main event. But if you ask me, I shouldn't be deducted a prediction of the main event pick here, because it wasn't a main event. And if Krylov was still in there, he would have beaten Spann, and I would have been correct. So, yeah, I think this is... let's just call it evens, and we won't add this to my main event prediction rate this year. Andre Muniz got subbed by Brendan Allen in the co-main event. Brendan Allen looked good. He looked very good on the feet. Andre Muniz looked good on the feet. Brendan Allen looked good in the grappling. Weird dynamic there. Brendan Allen landed more shots in round 1, but Andre Muniz arguably landed better shots in round 1. Round 2... similar situation on the feet, pretty even, but then Brendan Allen would sort of like reverse a takedown and end up on top, and that did him wonders in the end of the second round. So that was really good for Brendan Allen, a very clutch moment where if he ended up on bottom, it would have been tough for him, but if he ended up on top, he won himself that round. So very good job there by Brendan Allen. And then round 3, Andre Muniz was looking great on the feet, landing a bunch of good shots, had Allen in all sorts of trouble on the feet, looked like he rocked him at one moment. And, yeah, he just couldn't complete a single takedown the entire fight long. And Brendan Allen got his takedown in round 3, shot for it, took down Andre Muniz. And, yeah, Muniz is just useless off of his back. And Brendan Allen did work on him, passed over, got into an arm triangle, couldn't quite find the arm triangle. So Andre Muniz had to give up his back. And when he gave up his back, Brendan Allen sunk in the rear naked choke at the end of the third round. So... good job, Brendan Allen. Surprised me massively, out-grappling the man who submitted Jacare in a minute. MMA, that's the middleweight division for you. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Toodle Pip. We'll get a main event pick right next week. Don't worry about it. We're going to get it done. See you later. Goodbye. Yeah.